All right. Welcome to the show, people. Welcome to the experience. It is 9:03 p.m. Central Time here in San Antonio. It's getting nice and chilly here. Thank God. Tired of this humid ass weather. But I am Drew. You already know me. And with me, as always.
Justin from Spinebuster Tees and spinebustertees.com.
All right. How you doing, Justin?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I ate a little bit before I got here, or before we started the show. And yeah, just been enjoying the month of October. Watching a lot of horror movies like I usually do around this time. And yeah, I can't complain. Halloween's going to be next week. So,
Yep. Next Thursday.
yeah, next Thursday should be some good shit. How
Yep. Yep.
how you celebrating this Spooktober, as we should call it?
I mean, nothing outside my usual stuff. I mean, I'm always watching something horror related, at least sometime during the week, at least several times a week. So that hasn't really changed or anything like that. But just taking it day by day, and just really focused on my shop, my business right now too. So I haven't really been really too festive for Halloween, but I'm keeping up with my I went to go see. I said last week I went to go see Terrifier, so just watching my YouTube channels, my horror YouTube channels, and like Cinemassacre. I always like to watch the his history of horror videos, and Cody Leach, and of course Dead Meat Kill Count. That's like
Right.
it's like the number one horror channel on YouTube. So yeah.
I do follow them. Yeah, Terrifier 3, I think it's like one of the highest grossing independent films of all time. It was a $2 million film, and so far it's made close to $45 million.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is a technically independent film, but like it's not. It's not. It's an independent film, but does not really have independent backing. It's more almost of like of a regular backing for the most part. From like because people obviously know of the series, and Art the Clown is like, the next horror, slasher villain. You know what I mean? Like for the 2020s. So
Hey, he's become a
you know,
household name.
sorry.
He's become a household name.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think, like, if you say like, oh, Art the Clown's in my top five slasher villains, I'm not gonna dispute that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, like when I say independent, like no, none of like the known production companies like Warner
yeah,
Brothers or
none of the major studios.
right. But yeah, just it's become a household name. With every movie, the budget's gotten bigger, and they're gonna do a fourth one, and more than likely they're gonna get a bigger budget. Um, I just kind of hope they don't jump the shark, where it's like Art the Clown in space, Art the Clown, in the hood, like Leprechaun in the Hood or something like that.
Well. First of all, Leprechaun in the Hood was actually a good movie. It was actually really good.
I'm not knocking Leprechaun in the Hood. I'm just saying like I don't want Art to
You
jump
said
the shark.
jump the shark as if it's a bad movie.
Right. I mean, they're more than likely to do something like that, like Art the Clown goes to jail, Art the Clown goes to the beach, or whatever the fuck. But I mean, people love the fuck out of this clown, even though they probably shouldn't, because he's fucking
A
insane.
lot of people has been dressing up like Art the Clown at the conventions too. So,
Right.
it's really Art the Clown, Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Jason. So like he's part of that group now. You know what I mean? Leatherface too. So I think he's definitely in my opinion, surpassed Jigsaw at least. You know what I mean? I think he's
Right.
probably in the same. I don't really like Chucky's different because it's a doll. You know what I mean? It's still a slasher though, but it's a doll, so it's like kind of a little bit different. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, Chucky is very much in the pop culture zeitgeist. I mean, he has his own. I mean, horror had his own show. Yeah, art is pretty much in the pantheon. What's the right terminology? Pantheon.
sure.
Okay. In like the names of like Chucky, Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. I know the director. He's interested in doing like a Friday the 13th, or Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, reboots or whatever. I'd much rather see him do a Friday the 13th. because I don't think Friday the 13th has really gotten its just due. Whereas
It
Halloween,
really hasn't.
no, like
It really hasn't.
right, like Halloween, I think has had so many reboots and redos and requels or whatever. Um, Nightmare on Elm Street, they had the remake, which, unpopular opinion, I like the remake. I liked it. Um, but Friday the 13th, it hasn't really had too many chances. There was that 2009 movie, which wasn't that bad.
It
Actually,
was really good. I really liked that movie.
right.
Well, they made Jason survivalist, wasn't, and kind of explain how he got from why he shows up out of nowhere. Well, they kind of explain it here in this universe on how he can do that, and obviously Friday the 13th, the game, that revitalized the series for a lot of people, and it had a lot of people relearning about the different Jasons and stuff like that too as well. So,
Yeah, it's weird because that movie actually made a nice little chunk of change and it got good reviews, and there was never a sequel after that.
Well, it was because of the rights to the franchise.
That's so weird. Like, because I know there's a show that's going to be coming out pretty soon, a Camp Crystal Lake show. So I don't know. That'd be interesting if the Terrifier guy did the Friday the 13th remake. That'd be pretty cool. Another horror movie I just saw was Smile 2, and that was actually pretty good.
I heard mixed things about it. I heard more positive than negative, but I've heard mixed things about it.
Yeah, I mean, I really like the first Smile, and I like this one almost as much as I like the first one. But there's, of course, some problems with like pacing and things happening that didn't really make sense. Where I'm like, is this a part of the act? Is this a part of their dreams or whatever? Or is this really happening? Yada yada yada. But it was really good. There's more than likely gonna be a sequel, but the way the movie ends, it's just like, how do you top that? But overall, I thought it was really good. I thought the lead actress was really, really good. She did a great job. And yeah, what else can I say? Yeah, just keeping up with the horror movie watch along for the rest of the month. I mean, I watch horror movies in general, but it's October, so you kind of gotta step up your game a little bit. Yeah, that's about it. And then, of course, basketball season started yesterday. Well, with the Boston Celtics beating the shit out of New York, getting their rings, and then LeBron and his son getting a debut for all of 2.5 minutes, which, again, still a good moment for them. Father and son getting to play together, but I don't know, we'll see. The Spurs are going to be starting their season tomorrow against the Dallas Mavericks. So, should be interesting to see how this season plays out. But, you have anything else to add to NBA or anything like that?
Nope.
All right. So, the week in wrestling. Where do we got that? All right. So yeah, last SmackDown, last Friday. Again, a big chunk of SmackDown is usually very Bloodline heavy, and we get why. The show opens with the Bloodline coming out, and then Jey Uso comes out to confront Solo and tell them, why we need to keep the family together, and since you want to start a new bloodline, why'd you get these guys? Why'd you get the Tongas? Why'd you get Jacob? There's a reason why we stayed away from him. He keeps looking at me, I'm gonna beat his ass. And then he backed off and then told Jacob, next time I see you is going to be different. And then, he ends up confronting Roman and Jimmy. It's kind of weird because he looks happy to see Jimmy. Which, then on Monday he said, I don't got no love for my brother. I'm like, okay, whatever. Roman grabs him and says, hey, I'm really proud of you. And then, Jay goes, no yeet, and walks away. And then later on, Roman and Jimmy get beat up again by the Bloodline. So, Monday Night Raw was in Philly.
We're not going to talk about the Motor City Machine Guns?
Yes, that's right. I'm very sorry.
That was kind of a big deal, I thought.
It was a big deal. They've been showing promos for the Motor City Machine Guns. They're subtle, but not so subtle. Earlier in the day, they made their debut in an internet segment where Nick Aldis signed them to their contracts. Chris Sabin hasn't really aged a day. He looks great. Good to see Alex Shelley. Good to see them in general. I always like Motor City Machine Guns. They debuted in a triple threat number one contenders match to face the winner of the other triple threat number one contenders match, which was DIY. They went on to face A-Town Down Under, and was it LWO? Was it LWO, right?
Right.
Okay. And kind of a quick match. I know RJ was at SmackDown.
What you're talking about was Legado.
Legado del Fantasma, I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
LWO was on Raw. Our friend RJ, he was at SmackDown in attendance. It was in South Carolina. I asked him, did they get did the Motor City Machine Guns get a pretty good reaction? He said, yeah, they got a pretty good reaction. People were happy to see them. So, good to see Motor City Machine Guns in WWE. A big chunk of TNA's roster from that time period is in WWE. It's crazy to think about. You got AJ, you got Bobby Roode, who's an agent, Abyss, who's an agent. Now you got the Motor City Machine Guns. So good for them. Better late than never, but still good to see them. They look great. They're still great. But what do you think about their debut?
I thought it was a solid debut. I think that obviously the fans didn't really know who they were. But, I think the tag team division's got to be built around them. They're in this tournament for the tag team championships, and next week they face off against, or this Friday rather, they face off against DIY. I'm going to assume they're going to win that match there. And, they'll go up against the Bloodline, and I think they're probably going to win the tag team titles.
I think so too, and I'll tell you why. And this
Jey Uso.
Well,
yeah.
I was about to say that.
Well, I mean, it's obvious.
Oh yeah. But so that plays into Raw. So Raw was in Philadelphia. The crowd was a little not as this is gonna be a weird way to say it. Not as Philadelphia as they usually are. They seem very tepid or timid, if that's the best way to put it. Except for the main event. The main event, being Jey Uso and Braun Breaker, for the Intercontinental Championship. I think everybody kind of saw what was going to happen in that match, even before SmackDown. So they had their match, decent match, not as good as their last match, but still a pretty decent match, but very predictable. You can kind of figure what was going to happen. During the match, you had Solo and Jacob Fatu appear at ringside. Solo's like, I got my tickets, and yada yada yada. Jay confronts him like, what are you doing? Then there's another spot where Jay, is leaning on the guardrail, and then Tonga Loa, kind of smacks him on the back, saying, hey, you got this, we got your back. Jimmy super kicks him. Tama Tonga tries to jump on him. Jay, rolls out of the way and super kicks him. And then Solo gets out, and then they have some words. Braun goes for his spear, and then ends up tackling Solo. And then Jacob Fatu, jumps over the guardrail, and him and Braun Breaker have a confrontation, which was pretty cool. That's a matchup I think a lot of people would want to see somewhere down the line. And then while the ref's not looking, Jacob Fatu does a Samoan drop to Jay on the table, throws him back in the ring. Braun does a spear. 1, 2, 3. Now Braun is the new Intercontinental Champion. What'd you think about the match, and those spots in the Jacob Fatu and Braun spot? I can't hear you.
Sorry, I accidentally muted myself. I thought it was a fun match. I thought, obviously the Bloodline being there was nothing shocking or anything. I mean, obviously Jay put the bait on SmackDown, and Jacob Fatu bit the bait. But I think the major thing to come out of this is obviously Jay's going to go back on SmackDown. He's probably going to cost the Bloodline the tag team titles. But another thing I want to note too as well is that Solo pushed Jay out of the way from that incoming spear. Is there going to be a story that's going to be told to possibly Solo Sikoa actually, having remorse for his family, his the OG bloodline, could Jacob Fatu kick out Sol Sokola?
Yeah,
I don't know.
that could be a
We'll
thing.
see. We'll see. That can happen. That can happen. Is that too soon to rush? Probably, maybe. But right now, they're both utilizing, the Bloodline storyline on SmackDown and Raw, so they can probably accelerate this thing a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You're right. Just kind of piggyback off of what you said. Like that can be a thing down the line where, at War Games, when the Bloodline 2.0 loses, Jacob Fatu ends up taking over the Bloodline and kicks out Solo, and Solo could go back to the OG Bloodline and be like, I'm sorry, can you take me back? Like do something like that. So, but we got more coming down the pike. And also, to kind of add what we were talking about with the Motor City Machine Guns, with Jay possibly getting involved, I mean, it'll either happen on SmackDown or Crown Jewel, which is going to be next Saturday. So either way, Motor City is going to win those tag titles. When it happens. The rest of Raw. You had Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed kick off Raw by just fighting all over the arena, and then finally getting a match at Crown Jewel next Saturday. Rollins told Reed, "You want to be famous? Get your ass out here, and I'll make you famous." A la Undertaker. Then you had the tag team number one contenders tournament, the New Day versus the Authors of Pain. The New Day won, and then afterwards, R-Truth came out to attack the Miz, who was standing in front of the announcer's table, and then the Miz and Final Testament joined in and beating him up, while Kofi Kingston wants to go and help Truth, but Xavier stops him and says, no, he knows what's up, we can't save him. So then the lights go out, and it's the Wyatt Six, and they take out everybody, and Miz is standing in the ring. Uncle Howdy's behind him. He's about to take him out, and then Paul Ellering takes the bullet, essentially, taking a mandible claw. So that'll be the Wyatt Six next target is the Miz, which, gotta admit, it's a little underwhelming. Again, nothing against the Miz. I like the Miz, but I don't know. But I guess let me start something out. So so far, how are you feeling about the booking of the Wyatt Six?
I feel like they're trying to find something for them to do long term that makes them look dominant. I don't really feel that this group is going to be for them getting titles and things of that nature. I think it's really just a love letter to Bray, pretty much. Which is nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. I don't think they really are. I don't think the group is really concerned about TV time and titles and all that stuff. I think they really just want to just express their art to Bray, which I have no issues with that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I don't know, it just feels kind of weird. Like they essentially killed Chad Gable on live TV, and then he comes back, and then they take him out twice, and then they beat him and his group twice, and now him and his group are, they have their own stable and they're getting TV time. So again, with this group, they're using them sparingly, because I think if they use them every single week with nothing to do, then they kind of lose their appeal. Because at the end of the day, they're still over. They get a reaction when they come out, and like you said, it's a love letter to Bray, which there's no shame in that. Personally, to me, it would have been nice to see them in the tag team title tournament. Dexter Lumis and what's his name, Gacy. Would have been nice. It would have been nice to see him in the tag team title tournament, but that's just me.
I mean, then the question is, would you beat them, or would you have them win?
I would probably have them win.
I mean, I don't think it's the right time for them to go after tag team titles.
Right. And also, next month, I forget who pointed this out, it'll be the 10-year anniversary of the New Day. So that's something to look forward to, especially with everything going on with Xavier and Kofi. We'll see how that works out. So, what are we at? Where are we at next? Damage Control versus Raquel Rodriguez and Liv Morgan. Oh, let me kind of rewind the show because I forgot to mention it. Samantha Irving on Monday had posted that her time with WWE is finished. She did not show up on Raw. I know there was speculation as to why she left. Maybe starting a music career. I know she has a kid, which I didn't know she had a kid. This is before she got with Ricochet.
Yeah.
But
they should have like a 7-8-year-old, something like that.
Which I did not know. But so she's out, and then they immediately brought in Lillian Garcia. I know Samantha Irving, she had to correct people on Twitter, which I wish she wouldn't have to do that, but people on the internet just can't shut up. Where some website tried to say that she had given her notice the night of, and then she corrected it, putting asterisks, months. So WWE had apparently known about this for months, according to Samantha Irving. And of course they run after Ricochet saying "fuck you," yada yada yada, and Ricochet had to reply saying, "Guys, she's not coming to AEW. Chill." So. But I wish all the best for Samantha Irving. I mean, at the end of the day, it's the wrestling business. You can always come back. I mean, Lillian Garcia came and went, and now she's back. I'm assuming she's not going to be here for long. Maybe she might be a mentor to somebody new, but that's just me. But what are your thoughts on Samantha Irving?
I mean, she's, in a very short time, probably one of the most influential ring announcers ever, right? Her, Howard Finkel, it's very, very, very rare dynamic that you have somebody like that. You can't replace a Samantha Irvin. You just can't. There's no possible way. Doesn't matter if it's Alicia Taylor. Doesn't matter if it's Mike Rome. Doesn't matter. Lillian Garcia. Love Lillian to death, but she ain't no fucking Samantha Irvin. She wants to start a music career. WWE they want to have her still be involved with WWE, where WWE gets royalties from her music career. She didn't want that, and she walked. God bless her. You know what I mean? She wants to go out and do something else. Great. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there'll be. Look. They always come back. And I say this all the time. They always come back. CM Punk's back. They always come back. No matter who it is, they always come back. So, I could see her come back. Not say it's for hell, she may be back at this year's WrestleMania. I don't know. But you know what I would make Samantha Irvin though? I would make her just for the big events. Only work the big 4, the big 5 pay-per-views. Work Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Money in the Bank.
Like Howard Finkel did.
Well, what do you mean, like how you did?
I mean, then towards the end of his run, he would only do the big pay-per-views.
Oh well, yeah. I thought you meant like 1993 or something. But
coming down the aisle.
Yeah. So have her work the big events, then just have it in her contract saying that hey, she'll just be she can still do her music career. This has no effect, and she'll come back for the big events. And I think she could be able to do that. But, her saying that, she may not go to AEW. Well, I wouldn't count that out either. I know that's what Ricochet's saying. He'd probably legitimately say, well, I don't think she's coming to AEW right now at this moment, but we still got this potential Fox show. AEW Shockwave, which at this point they need to do something because tonight's show sucked again.
Did it?
Well, yeah, I just said that. But regardless of all that, though, they need something big. Mauro Ranallo's getting his feet back wet with Maple Leaf Wrestling. If you guys haven't watched that over the week, I suggest you to. It was 2 nights of great professional wrestling action. Guys from TNA, AEW, GCW, it was like a melting pot of wrestling, and it was two very, very good shows. But Mauro Ranallo, he's he's doing commentary for them. Who's to say that Tony Khan doesn't, get Morrow and doesn't get Samantha Irvin and try to make the show feel different on whatever night that they're going to do the Shockwave show. But it doesn't matter, though. It doesn't matter if you have Samantha Irvin or, Mauro Ranallo you get fucking Earl Hebner to come back as referee. I mean, AEW is in a very, very, very low spot right now as far as Crib's concerned, and that's another story for another day, though. But as far as Samantha Irvin is concerned, I mean, she wants to go if she wants to go out and pursue her music career. She's very talented. She's very, very talented for that. So I wish her the best, and hopefully, I just want to see her back in wrestling. Doesn't matter if it's at WWE, doesn't matter if it's in AEW, doesn't matter if it's in GCW or some indie promotion in North Dakota. Having her back would be very, very cool to see. So, and she loves pro wrestling too. So it's not like she was just there for a payday and left. No, she's a wrestling fan. She's always been a wrestling fan too. So
yeah, I mean, even like Cornette. Cornette was a fan of hers. Simply because, like you just said, like she didn't just go there because it looked good on her resume. Like, she legit loves pro wrestling. She grew up watching pro wrestling. So
right.
But yeah, I adore the girl. I still remember earlier this year at Mania, when she had that epic announcement of her voice cracking after Cody winning the WWE title. So I wish her all the best. She's very talented. Like you, I would love to see her back in professional wrestling in some form or fashion. But yeah, just again, at the end of the day, with WWE, everybody always comes back, regardless of who you are. Whether you left on good terms or bad terms, everybody comes back. Lillian, again, I love Lillian. Lillian just seems like a sweetheart of a person. She did have two, mishaps on the show, which I'm not gonna hold against her because she hasn't been doing this. She hasn't done this in a while. There was the one mishap where she was announcing the number one contenders match, where she said containers, which I thought was kind of. I made a little joke about it on Twitter, but I didn't take it seriously. And then one of the matches, which was Damage Control versus Liv Morgan, Raquel Gonzalez. When Liv and Raquel came out, she said, "and being accompanied by Dominic Mysterio," and Dominic was clearly not there. And of course, Wade Barrett, being funny, he's like, Dom has never looked better. So I don't know. Just again, I'm not gonna cut her head off for making two big mistakes, but it is what it is. But again, I'm happy to see Lillian back. And then Damage Control, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. This match was fine for what it was. Raquel, she has a little bit of ring rust. She's been out for a year?
Yeah, but just about, yeah.
So again, I love the girl. I'm not gonna trying to be mean. I'm not gonna try and cut her head off for having a little bit of ring rust. So, but yeah, that's pretty much all I'm gonna say about this. And yeah, that match happened. Of course, it ended in no contest. What happened? Yeah, I think was it Rhea Ripley came out. Rhea Ripley came out, and I don't know. This whole Rhea Ripley and Liv thing hasn't been paying off the way I think WWE wanted it to. I guess they assumed it was going to be their female version of Punk and Drew, but just I don't know. It just hasn't been working out. Rhea, I think, ever since she's become a face, she's kind of lost a little steam. I mean, she's still over. People love her. They call her mommy, but.
I mean, that's what happens when you become babyface. Like, that happens with anybody. You lose your edge.
Right. And then, of course, Liv is doing great. She's probably the most interesting she's ever been in this role. But, yeah, just this whole feud with, the new Judgment Day versus the Terror Twins, it hasn't really paid off the way WWE or any of us thought it would. It's kind of become ho-hum. Like a Damian. Damian finally decided to break away from the feud and go after Gunther, or go after the World Heavyweight title, which I'm assuming eventually will be him and Gunther.
Right.
And then another news bit, which people getting up in arms over nothing. So there was a backstage segment with Carlito, where he goes to talk to Adam Pearce about Gunther's next opponent, and then pitches Dominic Mysterio's name. And then before he does that, Damage Control walks away, and Carlito says, "I gotta learn Chinese," which apparently was ad-libbed. And, of course, when I heard it, I went, okay. Everybody on the internet decides to make a big deal about it and say, oh, it's 2024, for fuck's sake, that's not acceptable. And it's just like, guys, it was a dad joke at best. It is not that big of a fucking deal. As a matter of fact, Io Sky and Kari thought it was funny, because they know Carlito's supposed to be this bumbling idiot on television. They didn't think much of it, so why are you thinking anything of it? It's not that big of a deal, guys. It's a fucking dad joke. So get over it. And I just put out as a tweet, the same people that want the Attitude Era or just want everything to be edgy will, get up in arms whenever they get a small taste. So I don't know. What were your thoughts on that?
I didn't care.
Exactly. Just people making a big deal. It's like with Obafemi, where he did that bit with Rizzo, where he said, in my culture, women are taught to be seen and not heard. And, of course, people going, oh, that's offensive. It's like, shut up. Just shut the fuck up. Get over it. Oh, man. Just people wanting to have their voice heard. All right. Rest of the show, Tag Team Number One Contenders match, the LWO versus American Made. Mysterio only won. And then, that was essentially the rest of the show, if I missed anything important. I guess just announcing more matches for Crown Jewel next Saturday. So that was Raw. Another 2-hour Raw. It's weird. I'm still getting acclimated to these 2-hour Raws again. Because there was a point where it was 30-9, and I just realized it was 30-9. I'm like, holy shit, it's about to be 9. And we're at the main event already. So, but let's go to NXT. NXT was last night. I don't say this as an insult. I say this as a compliment, because I really did enjoy NXT last night. A very female-heavy NXT last night. The girls ran the show, and they did a great job. They knocked it out of the park. And it felt organic. It felt organic that, majority of the segments except for, the Trick Williams and Ethan Page segment.
Ethan Page, yeah.
Which Ethan Page, I thought, he really ate it out there. He did a great job in that promo. Far more interesting than Trick. Ethan kind of dug in his bag and cut a more serious promo, about how he's been wrestling for 17 years, which me and Ethan Page are the same age. And he's been wrestling since he was 17.
Yep.
I mean, he's from Canada, so I think, the rules are different over there. But, yeah, he's been doing it.
People wrestle in America at a very young age, too.
Right. But, yeah, he cut a really good promo where he talked about bleeding. And, I don't know, it's just kind of an interesting promo talking about bleeding. Whereas, lately you've been seeing more blood on WWE television. You saw the blood in the Hell in the Cell match. I'm going to ask you something, but I'm going to wait till our predictions for Halloween Havoc. But I thought that was a really good promo. Trick just didn't really have any good responses for anything he said. Like Ethan Page out there being serious, and Trick's like, yeah, man, I get it. That's pretty much his responses. And then Ethan Page dropped that rap video today, which I thought was pretty cool. I don't know.
Yep.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it was good.
I just thought it was amazing. It makes me want Ethan Page to win, which I doubt it'll happen. Yeah. But
Ethan Page is showing why he's been so good for years, and just AEW just dropping the ball on completely. Theoretically, Ethan Page should be upper mid card right now.
Oh yeah.
In AEW, like tier main event. He's that good at what he does.
I mean, Shawn Michaels literally told him to his face, you didn't get a fair shake in your previous job, so we're going to make you a star. And in like less than a month, he was already the NXT champion. So I think he's done a great job so far in NXT. I thought he did a great job as champion. I mean, his matches are I mean, he has good matches. I mean, I'm not going to say he has exciting matches, but he has good matches. But a lot of what makes him is his personality. You know, he can talk. He can work the crowd. You know, he has a punchable face. So that's what really gets him over. But yeah, for the most part, NXT was very female driven. It was very good. Damage Control versus Metaphor. They really, really like Lash Legend. Like, they really do like Lash Legend. They really do think the world of her. And I mean, I don't blame them, because she has an interesting look. She's really tall.
Hey, I'll be right back.
All right, sure, man. She has a good look. I mean, she's kind of won me over. Like, I didn't think much of her, and lately she's been out there putting on really good matches. She's shown a lot of improvement, and you know, pretty soon they're going to go to the main roster. Well, more than likely her, or maybe both. I mean, the women's tag team division. I think those belts are a joke. I mean, if you want to have secondary,
Sorry about that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I mean, if you want to have secondary women's titles, make like an Intercontinental women's title, make a United States women's title. But I don't know, if you want to be taken seriously, add these two to the main roster and put them in that division. But they wrestled Damage Control, decent match so far, and then Chelsea Green and Piper Niven came out and fucked over the match. So, but I was gonna ask you, what are your thoughts on how WWE is really pushing Lash Legend?
I will say that as far as Lash Legend is concerned, they're doing what they're supposed to. They're doing what they're supposed to with Lash Legend. And Jakara Jackson, I mean, they see promise in her, they think the world of her, and, you know, hey, give her a shot.
All right. And then you had Jada Parker and Tatum
What do you
Paxley.
think?
No, I kind of like what you just said. Like, I think she's really shown a lot of improvement in the ring. She obviously has a very good look to her. She's tall. She looks like she could be in a superhero movie. You know, she has something to her. She has personality.
Right.
So they really do love the shit out of her, and pretty soon they're both going to be on the main roster. And Jakara Jackson, I want to see maybe a little more out of her. She's not terrible in the ring by any means. She has a nice personality to her. But
she did get injured too when she was really starting to like come to herself in the ring, and she got injured, and now she's been a little bit more, you know, tamed for the ring.
Right. But yeah, I just hope it doesn't become a thing of like, Lash Legend ends up getting more of the focus on her, which at the end of the day it will, because of her look. And again, I'm not trying to say I want Jakara to be a scrub. You know, I want everybody to be good. You know, that's the point of the developmental. Next is Jada Parker and Tatum Paxley. I thought this was a good match. I thought it was kind of weird at the end, because the previous week Jada interrupted Lola's match with Nikita and cost her the match. So I was kind of thinking Lola was going to come out and do the same, but she doesn't come out until after the match when Jada already won. So I don't know. Just again, maybe I'm biased because I love Jada. I love Tatum. I kind of wish they would give more to Tatum instead of just having her kind of be in this player coach kind of spot. But you know, they're having her do something with Wendy Chu. Wendy Chu put her in a box. So there we go. Let's see. Backstage, you had a segment with Javon Evans and Nathan Frazier. They got into it. So I believe they're going to have a match next week, which that should be good. That should be a fun-ass match.
Yeah.
Wesley talking to...
That's going to be like that's going to be your AEW match.
Yes, sir. And Wesley talking shit, taunting him, saying, you got to get your behavior in order, or something like that. Obafemi and Luca Crucifino. Before the match, Rizzo was taken out by somebody. I guess we kind of find out later who it was. And then Oba beats Luca, of course, in a decent match. Crucifino, I think, is pretty good. Him and Channing, I think, are pretty underrated in the ring. It's always impressive when somebody can wrestle in pants, like straight up, just like dress pants. But the story in the match heading into Halloween Havoc is Oba is taking out his family. He handcuffed Tony to the ring post and watched him while he took out his whole family. He powerbombed Channing through the ladder and powerbombed Luca through the table. So that sets up their match on Sunday. And as we get to the back, you see Nikita Lyons talking to two guys, I forget their names. And then Oba gives her back her robe and says, "You forgot this. Thank you." So, is Nikita Lyons working with Obafemi? Did she pay, or did he pay her to take out Rizzo? We'll see. All right. And then we already talked about All Ego Ethan Page. And, November 6th. November 6th will be a Wednesday. November 5th is Election Day. So WWE decided to move the taping of NXT to November 6th in the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, which is the ever-famous Philadelphia, or not Philadelphia Arena, but ECW Arena,
ECW Arena, yes.
Which in the promos, they are showing a lot of ECW footage, ECW stock footage, which, I don't know, to me, if they're really going to hype it up as, ECW used to be here, do you think they're going to maybe have, ECW, stuff, matches? What do you think?
Well, I mean, they're obviously going to have a hardcore match or two. They're probably going to have, some ECW guys stop by, maybe Tommy Dreamer, maybe Blu-ray, the typical guys. Maybe RVD will stop by over there, right? Sandman, I'll be shocked a little bit. But I don't really think it's going to be anything I don't think we're going to see, ECW or anything like that. Maybe there'll be a match with a little bit of blood, but, we'll see. But again, they're going to be on network TV. It's not even cable. It's going to be regular network TV. I don't know how. I don't know what CW's thing is with blood. Don't know. I don't know what I knew what it was back in the day, but what for in 2024, don't know. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So, but I don't think anything really calls for blood anyway.
Right.
This ain't CM Punk and Drew McIntyre messing with. I don't think blood is necessarily needed.
What would be needed? What if RVD has a match with Javon Evans?
Sure.
That'd be fun. I mean, that'd be a fun thing. I mean,
sure.
Rob.
I love RVD. He's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. But I don't know. I don't think you need RVD in the ring right now in 2024.
Right. But I look at it this way: they really do love Javon Evans, and they gave him Randy Orton. What's to say they can't say, "Hey, do you want to wrestle Rob Van Dam in Philadelphia?"
I mean, so is Javon Evans just the guy that just wrestles legends, and that's it? You're not gonna do anything with him?
I mean, I'm pretty sure they will do something with him.
I know they are, but I'm just saying, it's hey, I'm not gonna complain if the match happens, great, right? But it's is it needed? Is it gonna take him to that next level of stardom? No, I don't think so. I think he's already getting over just from him. I don't think that Randy Orton match made him any more popular.
Right.
Not to say that he's not popular. He's already popular already. I'm just saying I don't think it made him more popular than what he already was.
I mean, I don't think
the RVD match is gonna do much either.
Right. I mean, I think it's more of just a notch in his pocket, or in his what do you call it? Just another notch in his belt. I don't know. I can imagine WWE wanting to do something big for that show, because apparently the Undertaker is going to show up. Again, the day it being after Election Day, and the big controversy with the Undertaker. That's not really a controversy depending on who you are. Where he had Donald Trump on his podcast, which I didn't really think much of it. You know, the
Well, I
Undertaker.
mean, at the end of the day, I mean, this has nothing to do with the election. It has nothing to do with the election. I mean, it has something to do with the election, but I mean, the reason why they're in the ECW is because they're going up against AEW.
Right,
That's the reason.
right. I know what you mean, but I'm kind of switching gears to something else, and then we'll get back to NXT. But yeah, just the Undertaker had Donald Trump on his podcast, and from what I heard, it wasn't really a political podcast. It was more just about Donald Trump talking about his history in wrestling. Which again, people made a big deal about, and then he had Batista on the other side, talking about how Donald Trump's a pussy and he's gonna kick his ass or whatever the fuck. So it became this big thing about, are you Team Batista or are you Team Undertaker? And it's like, I like both of them. I don't care about their politics. And again, just people trying to insinuate that Undertaker's a racist, which I'm like, his best friends are fucking The Godfather and Mark Henry. I mean, I don't really know too many racists, but I'm pretty sure they're not going to be friends with those guys. So I don't know. It's just idiotic. It's stupid. Like I don't judge anyone's political views. I mean, if you're a dick, that's different. But I have friends who are Republicans. I have friends who think differently than me. At the end of the day, they're still my friends. I mean, my closest friend in the world, like, she is a Republican, and she said straight up, I'm going to vote for Trump. And she is the most open-minded, left-leaning person I know. Like, she's very open-minded. So, at the end of the day, again, I try not to bring politics on the show, but it's kind of one of those things where it intercepts with our world of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, just because you vote for Trump doesn't make you a bad person. Just like if you are if you are a Democrat, that doesn't automatically make you a good person. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, if you're a dick, you're a dick. If you're a good person, you're a good person, regardless of who you vote for. But do you have any thoughts on this? Okay. So back to NXT. Continue with the show. You had Sol Ruca versus Carmen Petrovic. Carmen Petrovic is smitten by Ashante the Adonis.
Yes, she is.
Who can't blame her. I don't know. I love Ashante the Adonis. I think what he's doing is great. For his character, just being the what do you want to call
the
him?
man whore of NXT.
The man whore of NXT.
Great character work.
I think he's doing a great job. Ruka wins with that finisher, which I still think is amazing to watch. You had OTM versus Hank and Tank. They brought in Cole Custer, who is a NASCAR driver. And, of course, Hank and Tank got the win. And then after which, Lola Vice came out and danced with everybody. So that's fun. And what else happened? Oh, the main event. So the main event was Julia and Stephanie Vacour versus Fatal Influence. So JC Jane and Fallon Henley. I thought this was really, really good. I really enjoyed seeing Stephanie and Julia together.
They're really good together.
They really are good together. Julia, we've been talking about Julia. I think Julia's great. I'm probably a little bit more impressed with Stephanie. Like, Stephanie is really, really good. Like, she is really goddamn good. Like, her stuff.
Well, she was number 4 in PWI.
I thought it was number 5. Was it 4 or 5?
No, 4 or 5, whatever it was.
Top 5. Yeah, top 5. Regardless, but her shit looked great. Like, when she went in there, she was like electric, and just going right after those girls. And there was a point where, like, Fallon kind of looked like she couldn't really hang with them, but I thought she did good. And obviously, JC, I think, can work with anybody. I don't think she gets enough credit. But yeah, Stephanie looked great. Like, her stuff looked great. For multiple reasons, but I'm going to stick to wrestling reasons. I like that knee thing she does, where she gets on top of their neck, and then she just slams their faces to the mat. I think that's really good. And obviously, I like her entrance. I like the horns. I dig it. I like that they're taking their time with these girls, which is good. You want to take your time with them. Don't rush anything. But I thought this was a really fun match. I thought this was really good. It really showcased their strengths. Stephanie has won me over. Julia's won me over as well. I'm looking forward to their tag match this Sunday, which we'll get into predictions. And before I get to the aftermath, What'd you think about the match?
Well, good match. That hot tag that Stephanie Vecchio had was very awesome. Very, very, very good match. Fun.
All right, so let's get to the
Yeah,
after.
it just shows you how great the women's division is in NXT.
Oh yeah, it's like an embarrassment of riches at this point. Like that's you have the homegrown talent, like Jada Parker, like Lola Vice, Sol Ruka, and then you have established names like Stephanie and Julia. This roster is it's the best one in wrestling, bar none.
Yep.
WWE's done a great job. Shawn Michaels has done a great job. They really made the show last night. The women dominated the show, and it paid off because the ratings came in and they got an increase in ratings, 702. I'll get to the demos in a bit, but so what happened after the match? So Kalani Jordan, another homegrown talent, who's the Women's North American Champion. She's going to wrestle one of the members of Fatal Influence this Sunday, but we're not sure who. So more likely going to find out this Sunday. And they spin the wheel. It landed on opponent's choice.
Mm-hmm.
Which before we got to, we're more than likely going to find out this Sunday. But the lights go out, and it's the debut of Delta, who's now Zarya. I'm sorry. Who made her debut, which, depending on which region you were in, the fucking feed got cut off, and it went straight to the news. Which, come the fuck on. But, nonetheless, still a good debut. They really did hype. They've really been hyping this girl up. Again, I can't really tell you if she's good or not because I literally never heard about her until like a few months ago. But obviously she's good. Obviously they think the world of her, and we're gonna see her this Sunday. So what'd you think about the debut?
Very, very good presentation. She looks like the fucking devil.
So tell me, like, what do you know about her? Like, how good is she? What's kind of her gimmick, essentially?
I mean, she's a destroyer of worlds. I mean, she's a powerhouse wrestler, and she can do some, not necessarily high flying stuff, but some hybrid type stuff. She's a very raw talent. She still needs to work on her in ring, but she has a lot of upside.
Right. Again, I give anything a chance.
Catch some highlights on YouTube. I mean, there's like some 3-minute clips to check out just to get you prepared to what you're gonna see.
What do you think about the name change?
Totally fine. No one knows who Delta is, so.
Right.
People knew of Stephanie Vecchio and knew of Julia, so Delta was like more obscure name, so it's fine with it.
I'm fine with it too. I also think Zarya, is maybe a little bit of a better name, but yeah, just kind of what you said. Delta is such an obscure name. Stephanie Vacor is.
Well, not saying that the name Delta is an obscure name. I'm saying she's an obscure name to the wrestling fans. If she was well known as Delta, her name would be Delta. Right. But since not a lot of people know of Australia, Australian independent wrestling, no one's really gonna know who Delta is. No one knew who really Rhea Ripley was before she came over from Australia, and they were in the same promotion too as well. They worked in the same promotion, not at the same time, but they were in the same promotion, in Australia. So she's coming from Rhea Ripley's Australian promotion. So if that's the case, that they will probably, since Rhea Ripley became obviously the top name in women's wrestling, I'm pretty sure that they're taking their bookings more seriously and getting more legit people to come in to their territory. And since she was a big name over there, she was a champion over there, I'm assuming that she's pretty damn good at what she does. And for what I've seen so far, she looks like she can definitely do the part.
All right. So, before we get to Halloween Havoc, any thoughts about Dynamite tonight?
No.
Okay. I only saw.
I'll just say this. I mean, Tony. Well, I don't know what's going on with Tony Khan being in people's mentions at 1 a.m. on a Saturday about people's opinions on on why AEW is not doing so well right now.
Right, and it's just JD. Again, not his biggest fan, but he's been honest. Like, he's a guy that's been their biggest fan since day one, and he's just been telling the truth. Like, the product hasn't been that great. And when one of your biggest supporters just says, "Hey, this shit's kind of sucks," and then of course
he didn't say kind of like say this shit is fucking stupid.
Well, you know what I mean. But like, there's a whole thing.
He's dragging AEW through the mud lately.
Or like, there was a whole thing where he called a fan stupid, and Tony Khan was like, "You don't have to call a fan stupid because he disagreed with you." And it's just like, Tony, you're a billionaire. Why are you fucking on the internet talking to people? Like, come on. I don't know. And again, just going back to Dynamite, I only saw a little bit. I saw the ending of the ladder match. Chris Jericho is the Ring of Honor champion. Whoopee. And that's pretty much it. That's essentially.
Why did Kyle Fletcher shave his head? I thought it was. I'll say this. Shelton Benjamin and Sammy Guevara, thought that was a good match. Then you had Kyle Fletcher, who had a good promo, but shaved his head. Didn't like that whatsoever. So, but outside of that, this show was fucking abysmal. Abysmal.
Yeah, it seems like that's the talk about every other Dynamite that comes out.
It's been that way for the last 3 months straight. Maybe they'll probably throw your go one in there every now and then, but outside of that, man, this has been good.
All right, so let's go to Halloween Havoc predictions. Halloween Havoc's going to be this Sunday, which we're going to cover. Jeff Lippman should be joining us. He usually joins us for the NXT shows. It'll be in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which I forgot it's going out of town, at the Giant Center, October 27th. There's 5 matches, which looks like that's how it's going to be. It's the new norm for WWE. All right, so NXT Women's North American Championship, Kalani Jordan versus a member of Fatal Influence, with the spin the wheel, make the deal being Spinner's choice. Who do you think is going to be the member, and what do you think the choice is going to be, if you had to guess?
I'll go with Fallon Henley.
I'll go with Fallon too. I kind of wish it'd be JC, but I think realistically they're going to go with Fallon. What do you think the choice might be?
I have no idea. There's literally like 20 selections on there. No idea.
And I do not have any selections. All right. Yeah, I'm going with Fallon. And who do you think is going to win?
Lonnie.
Yeah, I'll say Kalani. My brain thinks Kalani. My heart kind of wants Fallon to win, but we'll go with Kalani. Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase in an ambulance match.
I will go with Ridge.
Yeah, I think it seems more realistic that Ridge is going to win, because it's Ridge, and it seems like they want to do something with him. But I wouldn't be surprised if Andre Chase wins because he just came back. Tag team match: Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Julia and Stephanie Vaquer.
What's up, Stephanie Vaquer?
Yeah, they're debuting, so they're gonna win. Should be an okay match, or not an okay match.
Well, you know what? Maybe actually, I may go with Roxanne and Cora Jade. I think Zarya, I'm sorry, is gonna get involved here.
Okay.
And probably cost the babyfaces the match.
I didn't even think about that. You know, I'm gonna change it. I'm gonna go with Cora and Roxanne. And then Roxanne just passed the 200-day mark as the NXT Women's Champion, so congratulations to her. Tony D'Angelo versus Oba Femi in a tables, ladders, and scares match for the North American Championship. This match can only be won by pinfall, which is weird.
Tony D.
I'm sorry?
Tony D.
Tony D's going to win, and then Oba is going to move on to bigger things. Trick Williams versus Ethan Page in a Devil's Playground match for the NXT Championship. Before we get to the predictions, going back to what I was saying about Ethan's promo on Tuesday, talking about bleeding, do you see there being any blood in this match?
It's not necessary. If it happens, great, but I'm not looking for it. I'm not like, oh my god, they have to bleed. I don't care. Either way.
Okay.
It doesn't matter to me. This is not Drew McIntyre CM Punk that I'm like, I expected blood. Like, it needs, like, this doesn't, I don't care if they bleed or not. It's not needed.
Okay. Trick Williams. He's going to win.
Yes.
Which, again, I thought Ethan Page cut a much better promo, and, that rap song he put out was fun, but, nonetheless, Trick is going to win because they love Trick. So, that's Halloween Havoc. Let's get to ratings. So, SmackDown from October the 18th was a 1.378 million and a 0.42 in the demo. The week prior, they actually had a drop off. The week prior, they had a 1.652 and a 0.49 in the demo. AEW Rampage from the 18th drew a 234 and a 0.6 in the demo. The week prior was a 253 and a 0.9 in the demo, so they fell off. AEW Collision from Saturday the 19th drew a 346 and a 0.10 in the demo. Collision, they didn't have a Collision the prior week, right?
No.
Okay. All right. So Monday Night Raw from October the 21st drew a 1.578 and a 0.51 in the demo. The week prior, they were a 1.539 and a 0.44 in the demo. So they actually had an increase, so good for them. NXT from last night drew a 702 and a 0.16 in the demo. The week prior, there was 639 and a 0.18. So they had a rise in the ratings, but slightly off in the demo. So good for NXT. Well, those are the demos. Do you have any news?
No.
Okay.
I've been up since 6 a.m. man. I'm spent.
It's all good, man. We're at an hour or so. Like I said, I had something fun. Being that it's October. I know you like horror movies. I like horror movies. Found an interesting list. Again, we don't have to go through the whole list. We can just cut it to maybe 10 or 20. Variety put out a list of the 100 best horror movies of all time. Do you want to start at 20? What do you want to do?
Sure. Whatever you like.
I mean, it's up to you. I don't want to keep you here too
Just
long.
do 20. Just do 20.
All right, let me get to 20. Dragging the list down. All right, so number 20 is Get Out.
I have to hear the rest of the list. Right. I really like Get Out, though.
Number 19, The Mummy from 1932.
Well, I mean, are you going to comment on any of this?
Oh, okay. Get Out.
I mean, that's what I thought we were doing, but...
Okay, yeah, Get Out. I like Get Out. I don't love it. I think it gets a little overhyped, but I think Get Out is a really good movie. I think Jordan Peele, I'm kind of hot and cold on him when it comes to his movies, because I really did like Get Out. Us, I thought was good until the plot twist. I didn't really.
I mean, it wasn't really a plot for me. I mean, it was supposed to be a twist, but I'm like, yeah.
I mean, they kind of told you what the plot twist was at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, was it really a twist?
Right, and then I didn't really like Nope all that much, but
Nope wasn't the best, yeah.
But what do you think about Get Out?
Yeah, just stated, but you gotta hear the rest of the list. But I liked the movie. I really enjoyed it.
Right. Number 19, The Mummy from 1932.
Karloff, yeah. Number 19. I don't know if the Mummy to me is more of out of all the Universal monsters, Mummy I like the least. And this is not your traditional mummy movie. The mummy wasn't really wrapped in bandages, killing people the entire movie. Like Karloff was unwrapped for the majority of the movie. So,
all right, haven't seen it, so can't really comment on too much. Number 18, The Shining.
Seems kind of low for it, right. in most people's eyes.
Yeah, The Shining.
I think. Honestly, I think Shining is a little bit overrated. That's me personally, but I think 18's fair.
Did you ever see Dr. Sleep?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
I like The Shining more.
I like both. I thought Dr. Sleep served as a really good sequel. And I like the director. I like Mike Flanagan because he had to do something that he had to make this movie that was faithful to the book and also the original Shining, which Stephen King notoriously hates The Shining. But yeah, The Shining, I do think it's a little overhyped at times, but I can see why people love it. It's weird because I like it, but I also think it's a little overhyped at the same time. So number 17 is, I have no idea what this fucking movie is. It looks like a foreign film. It's called Diabolic or Diabolic.
Oh, Diabolique. That's a 50s horror movie. I only seen it a couple times. I mean, it's very influential, but to me, it's a little bit hard to keep up with because obviously it's the language barrier, and there's obviously most prints don't have subtitles. So, but I can see the I can see why this movie's influential. Like even like Alfred Hitchcock, he wanted to make the English version of the movie, but he didn't. So
right.
So yeah.
Number 16, Halloween, the first Halloween.
Love the first Halloween. I can already tell this list is gonna be very influential movies. That's gotta be at the top.
Yeah,
I love the first Halloween, but that's not the best Halloween movie to me.
What's the best one to you?
I love Part 3. I love Season of the Witch.
I haven't seen Season of the Witch. I always hear mixed things about it. I always hear that if they didn't
call it, like it because there's no Michael Myers.
Right.
No. Get that out of your head. As a horror movie, it's fan-fucking-tastic.
I always hear that if they had just called it something else and just said, a story of Halloween, it would have done better. But because they push it as Halloween and there's no Michael Myers, I think that's why it did the way it did. But I haven't seen it, so I can't speak on it.
Yeah, to me that doesn't take away on how good the movie actually is. But I'll probably have to put the second Halloween. I mean, not second Halloween, but this Halloween here, the original, probably my number 2. But it goes back and forth like every year. Sometimes I have the original Halloween number 1. So,
right, definitely a classic. Where was I at? Number 15, Don't Look Now.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised I got this one here. So early 70s horror.
Keith or something.
Yeah, so we're getting to the mid 70s, but very good. I don't know if I have a number 15, but it's a good one for sure.
Yeah. Number 14, Nosferatu from 1922.
Okay, well you got Max Schreck, you got F.W. Murnau directing the movie. I mean, it's the first major Dracula movie. I mean, it's a silent film, so if you're not into silent films, you probably won't understand why this is number 14, but, you just, like, movies like this, you gotta be in the right mood for, the right setting, to watch movies like this, or even, like, traditional black and white movies, like the first Dracula, there's no music, except for Swan Lake at the very beginning. It's basically a silent movie. Frankenstein is a silent movie, movies like that, but I can see why. Personally, I would not have it this high. Personally, but again, I can already tell this is an influential list, not necessarily like objectively the best horror movies of all time.
Right. Number 13, The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it should be that high, but I think the reason why it's high is because of it's great acting, fantastic acting in the movie. As an actual horror movie, it's good. I don't think it's supposed to be this high. Maybe top 25, but I mean, this movie won every fucking thing at the Oscars the next year, so sure.
Yeah, Anthony Hopkins, Best Actor. Jodie Foster, Best Actress. So,
won everything.
Very much an influential movie. It was
Yeah.
a movie that the Academy, because the Academy still has a fucking thumb up their ass about horror films, which is just like they just now started recognizing genre films, but for whatever reason, when it comes to horror, they don't want to give it its just due. And a lot of the best acting performances in the past 5 years have been from horror movies. You know what I mean? Like Toni Collette got robbed of an Oscar nomination for Hereditary. As much as I didn't love Us, I thought Nikita, what's her name? The main actress in Us, forget her name, but I thought she did a great job in Us. James McAvoy did a great job in Split, having to play multiple roles. So I don't know. The Academy just needs to get over themselves. Number 12, King Kong, the original.
I don't consider King Kong a horror. It's a monster movie, but it's not necessarily a horror movie to me. I kind of see it as a more of a adventure movie. Right. I love this movie to death, though. I have a poster of it in my other room over here behind me. So I love this movie to death. I don't really consider it horror personally.
Right.
So as a movie, sure, top 10 movie of all time, sure. You know what I mean? But I don't know. That's subjective.
All right. I mean, I can see where people are coming from with this. Monster movies, I can see why they put them in horror because it's monsters. Again, but like you said, it's subjective. Horror is always subjective. Number 11. I'm surprised this is this low. Alien.
I mean, I like Alien, but I like Aliens better.
I love both, but I prefer the first one.
I mean, sure, 11, sure.
I don't know. I would put it in the top 10. Number 10, Carrie.
Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
No.
You don't like Carrie?
I like the movie, but it's not a top 10 horror movie.
Okay.
It's not a top. It's not even the best Stephen King. Pet Sematary.
I love Pet Sematary. That's my favorite.
I'd rather have Pet Sematary. I'd rather have. Okay, this is obscure. I'd rather have Christine than Carrie.
I saw Christine for the first time a few weeks ago. Loved it.
Love Christine. I mean, Cujo. All right, probably not Cujo. I love Cujo too, but yeah, I wouldn't have Carrie as a top 10 horror movie.
Well, it was a TV series, and then there was the movies. But all right, number 9, Salò or 120 Days of Sodom.
I heard great things about this movie. I've never seen it. I know this movie's from the 70s, though.
I know it's really fucked up. That's really all I know about it. So, number 8, Frankenstein, the original.
I mean, Karloff.
Yeah, beautiful.
I mean, yeah, I will say this. Yeah, it is a top 10 horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
You want to know why?
Well,
I'll let you guess. Why would you think Frankenstein would be a top 10 horror movie?
I mean, it's probably. I think it's one of the first Universal monster movies that came out. I don't know if it's the first.
Oh yeah, obviously, but it's more of a simple answer.
I mean, he kills a kid in it. It
has nothing to do with that.
One thing.
But it has nothing to do with that. This is the reason why it's a top 10 horror movie. When you go to anywhere to Five Below or the dollar store, you go to McDonald's and they have like the little Halloween, specials over there, or you go to Walmart. When they show you a Frankenstein monster, what does it look like?
The original Frankenstein.
It looks like fucking Boris Karloff. That's why it's a top 10 movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's why it's a top 10 horror movie. Period. Same thing for Dracula.
Yes, sir.
All the Draculas are fucking Bela Lugosi. Just saying.
Number 7, Audition.
No.
I can see why, because like you said, this list is about what's more influential.
I get it. I get it, but no.
This is that influx of, Asian, Japanese horror movies that were coming out. But yeah, kind of like you, it's just like, maybe not my top 10, but...
Ringu! I'd rather have Ringu. I'm not saying Ringo's a top 10 horror movie, but I think Ringo's more influential than Audition.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Number 6, Night of the Living Dead.
I mean, I like Dawn of the Dead better. Dawn of the Dead is the 70s version, and even the remake is better than the original Dawn of the Dead, but this is what started it all, so whatever.
Yeah. Number 5.
Have you seen it?
Night of the Living Dead? I'm trying to think if I have. No,
yeah. I don't know if you have to think that long.
I've obviously seen Dawn of the Dead, the remake and the original.
It's good. I really, really like it, and it's a public domain movie, so you can just watch it on YouTube for free. So,
Number 5, Rosemary's Baby.
It wasn't scary until the end.
It was kind of boring. I'll be
It
honest.
was really good. The beginning's really awesome, though. But I mean, maybe at the time, but no, maybe it's probably like top 30. The ending's awesome. I love the ending. I love the ending, but yeah.
I think The Omen's better. Number 4,
Do you think The Omen's a top 5 horror movie?
Top 10.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not.
my opinion. Number 4, Jaws.
Look, go ahead.
I think Jaws is overrated.
I was gonna say that too.
I get.
Now, I'll say this. I think it's a fantastic movie. Began the summer blockbusters, all that stuff. It's not a top. This is not a top 5 horror movie.
No.
It's not a top 15. It's not a top. I think it may be top 25. I think that'd be fair to say, but no. I think it's really good though. I do like it, but it's not this high.
And I get why. I get it. But it's just, at the time, it was a big deal. But it's just, there's been so many better horror movies that have come out. Better monster movies than this. Number 3, Psycho.
I love Psycho. I love Hitchcock in general, so I'm a little bit biased towards it. Well, number 3, yeah, sure. Maybe. Yeah, it had the twist ending at the time. It was engaging. Obviously, fucking Hitchcock's, fucking directing camera work is immaculate. Yeah, maybe if you've never seen it before, then you'll probably see it being inside. But if you have seen it before and you watch it and you're a horror junkie, then you probably don't think this is a top 3. But again, this is more of an influential list.
Right. Agreed. Number 2, The Exorcist.
Love The Exorcist. Again, I'm saying why this is an influential list. If you have it in your top 5, sure. Me personally, I do not. But when you first saw it, it was a scary motherfucker, and no one can deny that. So
Yeah.
when you very first watched it, I really don't have too much.
Again, I get why it's influential. You know, it came out in the '70s. It came out during a time when people didn't really see horror movies like this, and it scared the living dog shit out of people.
Yep.
Me personally, I am not a fan of The Exorcist. I've seen it twice before, and the first time I saw it, I was younger, and I just kind of changed the channel because I got a little bored. The second time, you know, as an adult, I'm like, maybe I'll appreciate it more. I actually fell asleep for maybe like 20 minutes during it because, again, I have nothing against dialogue or exposition, but for a big chunk of this movie, nothing was happening. So again, The Exorcist is not really one of my favorite films. I prefer
the dialogue movies, huh?
I have no problem with dialogue, but it's just like when it's just like dialogue, 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 dialogue. It's like, okay, can something happen already, please?
But when something does happen, it makes it that more shocking.
True, but by that time, I also think it's because I had seen so many clips of this movie that by the time it happened, I'm like, oh, well, I saw that already on like a TV show, but whatever. Number 1, Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, it's not the number one horror movie of all time.
Mm-mm.
Not even close. I love the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre because the older it gets, not necessarily the better it gets, but like it looks realistic and it looks like a documentary from the 70s, so it gives you that unnerving feel, and I really enjoy that. I enjoy on how quiet the movie is. This movie doesn't have much music at all. So that's another great thing about it as well. You know, and another thing too is that this, you know, with the exception of like Leatherface, like with the mask and the dancing and the chainsaw and whatnot, this can actually happen to you. You can actually get tied up by some fucking possible cannibals in Texas. I truly believe that. If you're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, if you go far enough in Texas, you'll find it.
Oh yeah, for sure. So, this being number 1 though, I don't agree at all. But whatever, you know what I mean? It is what it is.
Right. Dawn of the Dead, the original, is number 23.
What do you think about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Again, why is it number 1? I don't get it. Like, again, influential. I get it, but like, why should it be number 1? Like, I wouldn't have been shocked if they chose The Exorcist, even though it's not my favorite movie, but I get it. Jaws maybe, Psycho maybe, but I wouldn't go with Texas Chainsaw Massacre as number 1, and I personally wouldn't know what I would go if I'm going by my own tastes. Like my own tastes, I would say The Thing or The Omen, but I don't know about Texas Chainsaw Massacre being number 1.
I'll say this: The Thing. It's a good movie, but I don't think it's I don't even think it's a top 30.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a top 30 horror movie.
I love.
It's really more gross than anything else.
I love.
It's kind of like The Fly. It's kind of like The Fly.
Oh, The Fly is fucking gross. Like The Thing isn't really that gross.
The Thing and The Fly are right there on. You know, have you ever seen Dead Alive?
I've seen clips.
Yeah.
It's
People complain. People want to complain about fucking Terrifier. Watch Dead Alive.
I mean, Terrifier. The violence didn't really bother me because I've seen violence in other platforms. I've watched The Boys, and there's violence there, and yeah, just like, you know, I didn't get grossed out because I know it's not real, it's fake, even though the practical effects I thought were cool, even though sometimes it looked kind of silly, or like, you know, he's like using a chainsaw on somebody and they cut to their face going ah, and then they just show their like limbs being chopped off. So again, just, you know, I get more uncomfortable watching things that can really happen. You know what I mean? Like, have you watched The Penguin yet?
I want to, but I have not.
It's really fucking good. You need to watch it.
I bet. I mean, because the Batman's probably my favorite Batman movie, so I probably got to get back into that.
It's better than the Batman.
Okay.
So, but I won't spoil anything. But there's an episode that has to do with prison, I'll just keep it at that.
Oh,
And
oh.
and I mean, nothing rapey happens, but like it just shows the ins and outs of prison, of the prison system and injustice. I watched that the same day as Terrifier, and that shit made me more uncomfortable than Terrifier, because that shit can really happen. I mean, it still happens, but yeah, just again, just gross out stuff. It depends, because I saw a clip from Dead Alive where like someone was like shooting pus out of their face, and I'm like, okay, that's too fucking much. Like that's fucking gross. I don't want to see that shit. Blair Witch Project is number 24. I'm surprised it's not higher, even though it's not one of my favorites personally. I think that's a little overhyped. The first Scream is 25, and I'm not going through the whole list. I'm just pointing out some names of mention. The original Dracula is number 27. You surprised it's not a little higher?
No, I mean, this was their list. I mean, whatever.
And then Ringu is 31. So, but that's the list. If you guys are interested, I can send you a link. But that's the rest of the show. We did an hour and 25. I think that's pretty much all we need. Like I mentioned, this Sunday, we will be doing a Halloween Havoc post show with Jeff Lippman. I need to check in with him, but he should be able to join us. But that's all we have, people. Justin, what do you have for the people? Tell them about Spinebuster Tees.
Guys, over find me Spinebuster Tees, SpinebusterTees.com, Spinebuster Tees on Instagram. Follow me on Spinebuster Tees on Instagram. I'm always posting new stuff, always getting new stuff in my shop. Spinebuster Tees on coming into Spinebuster. I can't even talk right now. I'm so fucking tired. Spinebuster Tees inside of Wonderland of the Americas. Come visit me 11 to 6 Wednesdays through Sundays, and SpinebusterTees.com. Get yourself a T-shirt. Main designs that I do have on my website on SpinebusterTees.com, Spinebuster Tees on Instagram, and visit me at Spinebuster Tees at Wonderlands of the Americas.
Yes, sir. And then, of course, the experience you can find anywhere the podcasts are distributed. Also, go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Get those numbers up. And we're here every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Central Time here on Wrestling Soups Discord and YouTube. And thank you to Mish, as always, for giving us this platform. And then Twitter, Instagram, DY Experience. And like I mentioned, we'll see you this Sunday for Halloween Havoc. So, if there's nothing else, thank you, people. Thank you to anyone who did listen, who showed up tonight and supports us and loves us. So, anyways, guys, take care. Have a good week. And what else can I say but peace out.